The simulation isn't nature, this 3D planet, or what you see. It is everything, the entire universe, both the web that entangles us to karma and the water that we sail to set us free from the ties that bind. The simulation isn't your present reality. It is your perception of it, conditioned by lifetimes of lies by both powers and principalities that feed off your failure and reincarnating, and by the grooming of your current world-ruling class, condemning you to spiritual impotence by demonizing your soul awakening. You cannot win in a spiritual universal simulation that seeks the wrong balance. Much as Americans have looked down on self-reliance and farming, not industrial, but like homesteading. Hunting, gathering, living in a home you build in the woods. They see all of that as silly. Why not just go purchase your goods? Look down on those that build the homes. It's okay if immigrants do it. So the powers and principalities see themselves versus us. It's beneath them to suffer, strive to survive, or work with their hands. They have lived eons off of our suffering. Their version of balance is our pain, balancing their euphoric, eternal planes of existence. They do not want you. They lie to you, divide you. When I say they do not want you, let me elaborate. Go watch many near-death experiences. You're meted with so much love and so much warmth, so much euphoria, everything is perfect. But somehow they always convince you to come back. Somehow you designed this. It was your blueprint. You wanted this. Come back. But don't you understand that they will always say that? You're never finished. You're never quite good enough. You're still being groomed and molded and, what is that word? Refined like gold, right? You're still not quite worthy of eternity. So you must come back and suffer so you can keep charging up heaven like on Monsters, Inc. They divide you. They tell you what you need to hear to agree to coming back, just to suffer again. We cannot just evolve. We must cast them out. We cannot have peace with no peace and balance, and with no balance. It's like we want peace, we want balance, but we cannot have it so long as they're the ones ruling what we call the heavens, which are just higher dimensions. These things, they're squatters, okay? The creator set his energy free to create. He had to. Well, I could say he doesn't have to do anything, but as he says, I am who I am that I am, I just am. So are you, so am I. We can't help but be what we are, right? He can't stop creating, but he doesn't want to be alone, so he released all of this energy as free neutral energy. Is only chaos energy because chaotic spirits don't know how to wield it with love and harmony. Oftentimes these things create chaos intentionally. Now, there's so many powers and principalities that know so much more than we do, but they want to keep it that way. They want to keep you ignorant. They want to keep you blind because this is how they control you. And once you find out they exist, they want you to think they're benevolent, they're perfect, they do no harm. Oh, we're this, we're that, we're the, what is it? People talk about Lemuria and Pleiadians and the, what are they calling those Norse things? I don't know, but it's like they think all of these beings are so benevolent, good. They don't even question when they tell them things. They just, these people are like, oh, I believe anything I'm told. Don't question if it's a trickster spirit. Don't question if it's deceiving you. Just buy it hook, line, and sinker because you're lonely, you're hollow, desperate for attention. So anything to fill the void and spoon feed you baby food with poison in it to feed you lies so that you keep on being enslaved to their ideology. Go right ahead, right? So basically, these like squatters are like demons. And the weird thing is, the demons and the evil we know are just the bottom dwellers. They're what we think of as demons. And you've seen horror movies. It's like those are the lowest of the low entities that are feeding off of the lowest energies. But there's so many entities that are higher in vibration and density and dimension than we are, and still evil and demonic. It's just they seem like an angel of light to us because they are so much more quote unquote enlightened, right? But they've deliberately kept us from evolving. So they seem more light than us. It's all an illusion. It's not illumination, it's illusion. Let's see. Yes, we have to learn to say no. No to them feeding off of our pain. No to them forcing us to return in the flesh. Not that we don't love this life here, but it's not balanced. We must awake here and now with our Maker. Christ Himself agreed that we are all one with Him and the Father. It's just one example. I'm not speaking as a Christian. He angered angels because He was able to be an incarnation of the Creator and said things they couldn't understand. There's verses in the Bible that says even angels long to look into what it is that He knows, what He is, what He does, because it's a mystery to them. They can't understand from the inside out. They always look from the outside in. That's their problem. He is within us. We're all one. Our ancestors that watch over us have learned how to bypass the simulation of the universal matrix and live between the codes. It is how they help us. We aim for this as well. If we really want to evolve, if we really want to cross over, as they say, it is not to go to heaven, to be in the simulation, to end up being sent back here. It is to be in between it all, where we learn to be omnipresent, where we learn to never lose our memory, where we don't submit to coming back here and being wiped out over and over and over again. We have some ancestors that have lost who they are, and they've been reincarnated all over again. But those who have learned how to stay as guardian spirits and will not surrender to the quote unquote heavenly bodies that try to be their God but are not, they can do it all. So can we. We have to learn how to walk between worlds as they do. They are the keepers of truth, and they protect our descendants. The spirit of lust and envy in these beings are what drive them to forget your Maker. They need you to forget your Maker. They want you to constantly focus on them. It's like they say, demand, distract, okay? Their focus is to demand, divide, distract, and conquer. Inky made you? Lucifer, right? That's rich. I mean, his lust is love, love is lust, put his dick in everything, but that's love, that's lust, that's love. Center yourself and remember who you are. Or allow them to divide, distract, and conquer. Fallen angels are incoming. Question everything. Nothing is what you think. My children are getting duped into group think, buying the lies out of longing and loneliness. Now, this is just something I saw today when I was meditating, and I wrote a lot of it down faster than I could, process all of it. And I want to say, I have listened to quite a few different podcasts throughout my night at work and to and from, and I cannot believe the lies that people flock to, okay? And you don't have to believe anything that I say. I say question everything, question me. Don't just believe everything I say. But why are there so many groups of people flocking to this ideology that, it's the Nordics, that's the word, that these Nordics and all of these other entities, they're telling the truth. They're honest, right? They can do no wrong. Like, first off, there's not even evidence of most of those beings, the way they're described, until some fictionalized stories are written for an ideology, and it involves a lot of racism and whatnot. And now people are buying it. You do realize that there are so many trickster spirits out there that feed off of your stupidity. Now, I don't want to say that these things don't exist. I would love to believe that they do, but question it. I've had visitations before. I have seen things most men would never dare or dream. The day before 9/11, I had a visitation. I was told there would be war. Lo and behold, I wake up to war. Okay, so I've had my fair share, but I still question it. Could it be an MK Ultra thing? Could it be, like the voice of God thing? Could it be, what do you call it? Because it's exceptionally rare that I have something that I would consider beyond just psychic hearing or whatnot. And even then, I think that day it was still more like psychic hearing. Like, it's so rare that I actually hear something audible with my ears. And I know I've mentioned that before, where I'd heard someone yell USSR, flat out heard that, someone yell it in my parents' bay house. I don't know, probably over a decade ago now. And it tripped me out because I was in the house alone. Um, but anyway, it's like we have to be able to have the humility to question the things that try to present themselves to us. You see all of these people, like I've mentioned multiple times, channeling all of these things, and they know Mary Magdalene personally and Archangel Michael and all this stuff, right? They don't question it. They just bend over and say, stick a plunger up my ass and I'll believe anything you say. I mean, of course, they make a lot of money doing it, right? But why are there so many followers? I was listening to something tonight where these guys claim the Nordics are talking about these Martians that are going to be coming back soon, and they're not really from Mars yet. They're from Mars, but they were somewhere else, and they're way bigger than us and giant. And the Nordics told them that they're just coming home. Yep, that's it. They're coming home. It's not they're like related to us, but yet they're even taller than the Nordics and blah 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 blah. And it's so strange that they're putting all these messages out about beings coming here and not being a problem, because I think I'm not the only one, but many of us that work more behind the scenes with our creator know what the powers and principalities have been doing, know that they've been feeding off of us and that they've hijacked heaven. And we know that they're going to be cast out because they're so wicked in the fact that they can just look at the suffering here and not give a damn, so long as they can keep harvesting and living forever off of the juices of our blood, sweat, and tears. And it's time that they know what it feels like to have pain, to have mortality, to have a flesh body. Why do you think that all these men that talk about gnosis all the time and blah, 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 blah are obsessed with getting out of the body? Because spoiled, entitled men don't want to suffer. They don't want to value the pain. They want to run away from it. How much more would these powers and principalities and entities that are more evolved than us would also want to run from pain and justify making us suffer so that they can feed off of our energy? The thing is that they have to know what it's like to suffer, because it has gone to their heads, to their souls, to their heart, where they have no compassion left. The things that suffer here, I don't know, I want to say unacceptable, but it's like I need a stronger word. You know what I'm saying? Unconscionable, maybe? It's like every night I drive home, see all this roadkill and these little babies that deserve better. They deserve better. We've done this. We allow so much pain, so much suffering. We're doing the same thing as the beings that feed off of us. These things are going to be cast into the flesh. So, when they show up, what are we supposed to do? Go, oh, you're the giants that, you're just coming home. Bullshit. Mm-mm. Now, is it possible I'm completely wrong and this other person's completely right? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. But I'm just saying to question it. Don't just buy it. Question both me and them. Where is the balance in people's logic and their intuition? Like, I have been knowing for quite some time that the evil ones, not one, but many, are going to be cast out of the higher dimensions because they've abused their power for far too long. The free will energy that's out there for us all to use, we also have to learn how to accept our birthright that we can be more powerful than the entities that are higher than us in density and dimension. And what I mean by that is the great creators inside of all of us. And I know that Christ and Krishna and all of these examples tried to show us this, tried to tell us this, we're actually in connection with our creator from within. We are more powerful than the other things. Once we learn to say no and say, I'm sorry, but you can't be in the heavens anymore, we're taking it back. Like Mouth and the Goonies and like the well, and he's pissed off because the wishes didn't come true. He wants to take all the change back. Well, that's like how we are with all of these entities that are lies. They were all like campaign lies that never came true. So we're taking the energy back. We're just saying no. All it takes is even just one of us saying no. But many of us, and they're fucked. We've been giving away our power for far too long, and it's so unbelievable to me how lonely people are, how desperate they are for a word, but they won't go within. They're always looking without. Where is the next channel? Where is the next person that's talked to aliens and Nordics and, channel Lemurians and this and that? And I was listening to some other lady that went on and on about this plan they've been working and implementing with the Lumerians and how to save us from ending up like the Pleiadians. And everything she was saying was putting us in a box, and she's claiming us to not put us in a box. And I'm like, lady, you're putting us in a box, shaking it up, going, oh, are you hurting? Are you hurting? Well, that's because you're in the box. Get out of the box. And I'm like, you're trying to create a civil war by constantly fear mongering and saying you're trying to stop a civil war. Like, get out of the mindset of that even being an issue. We all are getting an understanding very clearly that we don't need to be fighting with each other. We need to be pulling and ripping the ruling class and powers and principalities off of their false thrones, feeding their bodies to the birds of the air because they are hungry. Have you not seen the vultures and the crows flying around constantly at the roadside saying, give us something fresh to eat, I'm tired of eating roadkill, I'd much rather eat the eyes of the wicked. Give me something worthy to dine on. It is time that they get to feast. Welcome to the great wedding. May they feast all day. I don't know. I suppose I'm so fed up with the stupidity of the people today. And yet I know there are so many with wisdom out there, but they're probably much like me, hiding in the shadows. Not because we're afraid, but because we don't always want to put our energy into trying to wake up those who are determined to stay asleep. For if you have no connection to your Maker, we cannot wake you. You have to learn to go within. He's already there. Hello, knock knock. Why do you have to believe everything that you're told? Do you believe me? Probably not. Because I'm not tickling your fancy. I mean, if I was promising you some grand, illusion of utopia with a bunch of Nordics, would you believe it? I don't know. Or if I told you that the alt left or the alt right were going to be destroyed and doomed, would you believe it? Like, what is it that you want? Do you have to constantly look outside of yourself? Do you know how to genuinely get in touch with your creator within? I feel like I am tired. I want so bad to teach, to wake up my little ones. But it's like I'm speaking into a cave with no one there. Because those of us who know the truth are often the ones fading. We have little desire to be in the mess that you're all creating. I think it's why even in the Bible it says that the birds of the air feast on both the rich and the poor. Because so many are wicked, whether you are poor or not. And I do feel like the lower vibration poor are going to be the ones that rip the ruling class off of their throne because, they're so reactive. It's like they're not going to do anything until it really hurts. And when it really hurts, they're just going to react and lash out because they're not being self-aware or prepared. When I knew that this day was coming, I knew that these things were going to happen my entire life. I knew it in the marrow of my bones. Do I think it'd be this dragged out and pathetic? Probably not. But then again, we have to remember that human time frames and reality is not often the same thing. I know I think there's at some point I want to do a show on the rise of like Luciferian and Lilith worship, which is really bizarre because the stories that are twisted off of like mistranslations and whatnot and the desperation to kind of be counterculture. It's just eating people alive. And I know I've done a lot of Bible references and things, and I don't want anyone to make the mistake of me thinking that it is the authority. I know a lot of Christians do, but I have read it many times since I was raised as a Christian, and it was kind of put on me to do so. And I wanted to know what it is I was supposed to believe. Most Christians don't actually bother to read the Bible from beginning to end, and I've done it multiple times, multiple different types. Like I've read the Amplified version and the New King James and the NIV, which the NIV is the worst so far because it actually takes out a Bible verse where, the iron entered Joseph in prison. I think, I'm pretty sure that I found Bibles that didn't have it in there, and that was probably one of the most important verses of my life because it reminds you that, the things that try to put you in prison can become you. Like, it's what makes you. The things the enemy tries to steal from you. It's like I have been wanting to teach people, like you see everywhere where they cover one eye, and everyone is trying to like relate that to the Illuminati. And oh, look at the evil ruling class everywhere showing off. They're always covering one eye, and there's the one eye on the money and stuff. And it's a wee bit insulting because I actually do feel like Odin is not evil. I feel like there are reasons why there's a one eye being covered, and it's not what you think. So many things are not what you think. I think it is because, like in the story where Set took Horus's eye, well, what you take from us, you can no longer have. So it's like once he did that to Horus, Horus can now see through one of Set's eyes. So Set had to always cover one eye because if he was to open that eye, Horus would be able to see where he was at, which would give him away. And see, that's what evil does. Whenever evil takes something from us, it becomes a weakness, becomes a vortex, it becomes like a reversal where the energy must be balanced out. And they know that. That's the reason why so many of them are going to be cast down into the flesh because they have disregarded the genuine balance for so long and they knew that this was coming. And so they're trying to prepare this place for it, make it cozy for them, get rid of us as much as possible or make us subservient to them. But anyway, the symbol of cover. Now, I don't even think that most people in the evil brotherhoods or whatever even know that that's why they cover one eye. I think that they like to, refer to the all-seeing eye. But why would they do that? Isn't that the silliest thing you've ever heard of? The all-seeing eye. Why would they think the all-seeing eye loves them or respects them or is them? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They know for a fact that they have to cover one eye because they've tried to take one from us. Oftentimes we will sacrifice one of our eyes, one of our hands. We will sacrifice our own body to attain something that we genuinely want. And if you look through all of the stories in history and mythology and whatnot, there is someone sacrificing something because they want something else more. And I think that we oftentimes forget that it's really more symbolism. Even Christ dying on the cross. I know so many Christians, God, the ignorance in Christians is really astounding to me. And why I say that is because they're so determined to like limit their ability to understand because they're so afraid of what they don't. And it's like the first thing I ask any of them is, before you judge me or anyone else, can you do what Christ did or greater than him? Then shut your mouth. Because he said if you really believe in him, you can do the same things as him or greater. And if you can't yet, you don't believe in him. Tell me that you do. Not buying it. You think God's buying it? He's not buying it. You don't really believe in him. You're forcing yourself to believe in him logically because you're afraid of going to hell if you don't. When in reality, you'll just cease to exist if you get disconnected from love. But that's another long story. What Christ did, it's not that it's not real, it's not that it didn't happen, but it is mostly showing you, because you're incapable of conceiving it with your little tiny mortal mind, that is what God did long before creation, when he released his energy for us so that we could become free to choose to do what we want, when we want, where we want. Powers and principalities have tried to corral us like cattle. They don't want us to be free. They want to control everything. Therein lies the problem. The Creator did set certain things to govern the sun, moon, and stars. We see them in science. You also see it in biblical references. And there's many ancient beliefs that these planets are alive, right? That they're gods or deities. They have a spirit, they have a soul, just like the Earth is like Gaia or something. And part of me wants to say it's above my pay grade, but I will say that he did set, obviously, some kind of beings to govern, to keep some form of order. I had heard something recently too, where someone had said something like, oh, you cannot have order without chaos. I'm like, what kind of dumb thing is that to say? Like, you're saying like everything is like this bouncing molecules and atoms and stuff. They're bonkers. And you have to have that first before you're allowed to have any order. Like, I don't know, who died and made you God? Who decided that? Like, whatever. I don't know. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like so many things. Like, most of these powers and principalities, they do always look outside in. It's a problem with most people with, like, say, sex and things. It's always from the outside in. That's why it becomes very low vibrational and worth nothing. It should always be from the inside out. That's how I knew that one lady was lying and full of shit when she claimed she was channeling Mary Magdalene. Like, vaginas and penises and sex is fun. If you were remotely enlightened, that's not how you would even view sex. Okay? But, I mean, she's making quite a bit of money claiming to understand the feminine when she clearly has daddy issues. Now, the thing is if we really understood things from the inside out, we understand creation. There's no chaos in that. It literally, all the energy just shoots out straight. It's just boom, right? You kind of think of it as a big bang, but not really, because it always will be, before and outside of time. The Creator released this intentionally. Then he set certain things in place to govern so that we can have some sense of order, which is nice, because if we were just in the darkness with him and there's nothing out there but just, our own reflection or what have you, it'd be kind of boring, right? The beauty of this place, though, is astounding. And yet somehow the very things that were supposed to be who we could trust, who we could count on, powers and the principalities that help put in place the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind, the atoms, the molecules, the dimensions, they've turned their back on the Creator because they want to forever feel in power. But if we evolved to the state in which the Creator always knew that we would, which is to be just like him in the here and the now and always will be, and creating as well, it's almost like we're our own gods. Jesus said it himself. These things will not have a job, okay? Obsolete. They know what's coming because they've been outside of time and space too. They see the end game. They know how it plays out, and they are avoiding it. They're trying to drag things out. They're terrified of it. And I can't, for the life of me, understand. It's all right here in front of us, obvious, plain as day. And yet we cannot seem to get people to see the truth. And I know there is some show I had done a long time ago, and I talked about, all the dreams I had, and where spirit was like, nobody wanted her. Will you do this? Nobody wanted this. Will you do this? And I really get it now. I didn't get it then, but after all that I have been through, I realized that trying to teach people the truth is almost terrifying because, first off, nobody's probably going to get to hear any of this until it's too late. Secondly, people, they need to, all they know since they've been born is to huddle like sheep in a group so they don't get eaten. Whether it's a New Age group, whether it's the Channeling Bashar and Theo group, or super churchy Christian group, or the super political camp, it's like they huddle and they try to stay really close together, and they will compromise. If they know what someone said is wrong, they'll go, oh, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe I am the problem because I'm questioning them. No one else is questioning them. I'm the only one questioning. Look at all the comments. Everyone agrees with them but me, so maybe I'll just shut my mouth. Maybe I'll just go along with it because they're probably better than me. They probably know more than me. You throw out your intuition. You throw out your instincts. You doubt in yourself because you groomed and conditioned your whole life to do so. Don't have any self-autonomy in your soul, in your spirit, in your intuition, in your inner knowing. Believe what the group believes. Hive mentality to stay alive. Because you put the group before your maker. When people refer to things in the Bible of, if you deny me before men, then I'll deny you, and blah, blah, blah. None of anyone is getting that. You deny your maker every time you deny your intuition and your instincts for the group think. You literally crucify your creator every single time. You're with your family, just a group of 5 people at the dinner table, and everyone believes one thing, but you feel like that's wrong. But you decide to go with it. I did it too for a long time. I tried so hard to please my family, the ones I loved, the groups I was in, and I was always a bit spunky and had my own independent thoughts and things, but hold on, my dog is trying to get in. Sam. Are the other cats up? Okay. Baby girl, hold on. Always working. My Samity Sam, I'm gonna knock my door down. Hold on, you big lug. I love you so much. My pretty girl. Anyway, so I can't say, I know that, when you hear this, you might think I'm being judgmental or I am poking at you, but I've been there. And I've never been so happy and so free until I began to truly do what my creator needed me to do, which is to just surrender to him first, from within. Which I've always known how to do my whole life, but I had to consistently compromise because I had no choice. I know some of you have probably felt that way too. It's like you're held captive, by your parents, by your partner, by your school, by your employers, by those around you. It's like I was so imprisoned as a child where my parents would completely chastise me if I remotely questioned the ideology of Christianity when I was having dreams of past lives as a little girl. And I was understanding telepathy and psychic ability so young, and I was treated like there was something seriously wrong with me. And I know what it's like to end up doubting yourself because you want to please others. But please don't stop. Don't stop. You've got to keep fighting. You have to claw with your nails. You have to grit and grind your teeth, dig your feet in like a bull. Don't stop searching for the truth and questioning the things around you. Let your intuition and your instincts be reborn. Renew them every day with your Creator. There's a spiritual way that is in between all of the religions and the faiths. It's in between the lines. It's like when they talk about these things coming back and everyone wants to see all of these things as either good or bad. Don't listen to them and just believe what they say. I mean, you go all the way back to ancient cultures and they knew that like these fae and these beings and entities were tricksters and would lie and fool and were full of trickery and deception. But these people believe this stuff because they want you so bad. Use your intuition. Learn how to get that divine spark back because it's in you. You have the potential to be an eternal being right here, right now. Remember who you are. I guess that's enough for me tonight. It's late.